Hello and welcome back to another weekly news video. Sorry for there not being one last week. That's because I think something happened with the video in terms of all the video stuff. And there will likely be not this week, but the following week, since I will be away on a holiday, so there will not be a video next week. But let's get cracking on. And starting off this week, diving straight in with good news for Boeing. Wow, it's happening more often, as I see it's happening a little bit more often now, but El Al are pretty much summing up, saying that's them. They're confirming an order with Boeing of purchasing the 737 MAX 8 for their future fleet operations, and just to straight up modernise the fleet that El Al currently have. Now, the order, of course, had been delayed due to reasons in the area that you pretty much know, but it's nice to see that El Al are finally being able to order these aircraft for their future fleet, so they can modernise the fleet from their current 737-800, and I think the 900 that they have in service as well. So El Al could really be using these aircraft to modernise and expand its future fleet. And if you look at the figures for how much the order is going to cost, that is $2 billion, or over $2 billion, so that's good money that Boeing could be really using at this point. So that's good news for Boeing and a nice way to start off the weekly news. Moving on to the next topic of the video, and the next topic is that Airbus has completed their last delivery of their last Beluga XL. The transition came in 2018 to the Beluga from the current Belugas, which were based on the Airbus A300, and the Beluga XLs being based on the Airbus A330. And at some point in the near future, these will be the main staple of Airbus's transport fleet, as it will eventually, they'll retire their Beluga XL A300 variant and replace them with the Beluga XL based on the A330, because this is a more modern airplane. And probably in 20 years we'll see the Airbus, maybe Beluga XXL based on the Airbus A330-900 Neo. We do not know, but it's good to see that Airbus has completed their last delivery of their last Beluga XL. And we can't go a week without some probably Boeing videos. I think ever since I started doing these news videos, I think Boeing has been in every single one of them, and most of them have not been for the good reason. But anyway, they're back in the headlines again. Now, as their outgoing CEO David Calhoun is to, I think, pretty much face a court hearing, or to go to court over something, I think that's what it is, over the quality control issues that had been seen over the last few months with the 737 MAX door blowout and 787 and 777 problems as well. And another whistleblower is, of course, bringing up more problems to do with quality control issues at Boeing. And Boeing saying that they will investigate what the whistleblower is announcing. And this whistleblower is saying that they're storing out-of-date bits of planes, or even broken bits of planes. And the whistleblower goes on to announce to say that they would even install these parts onto the aircraft that are in their production facility, which is breaking, I don't think it's breaking the law, well, maybe, but it's definitely breaking their rule over quality control problems. This is almost a quality control issue. And when parts like this are broken or out of date, or they cannot be put onto the current production built aircraft, they're given a red tag so people know that this is their service part of the plane cannot go onto an aircraft. So I think Boeing's got a lot of explaining to do, and they're back in the headlines once again. And moving back on to Airbus, and Airbus are looking at getting an order from Cebu Pacific to commit to the Airbus A320neo family aircraft. And as Bloomberg suggests, or reports, that the order is in between 100 to 150 aircraft from the Philippine-based carrier, which will help them in fleet expansion efforts. Now, Cebu Pacific have made it clear they want to expand their fleet and pretty much double their existing fleet, so ordering and purchasing these aircraft will not come as a shock, and this may come at the upcoming Farnborough Air Show, so we'll have to again wait and see what happens with that, and if they do purchase them before the Farnborough Air Show or during the Farnborough Air Show, but as we've analysed, or as I've seen maybe over the last couple of weeks, that Airbus could be seeing quite a lot of orders coming in for A350s and mainly the A350 and A320neo family fleet of aircraft. So I think Airbus is going to have a very good Farnborough Air Show. However, using this order from Cebu Pacific, it could pronounce they probably will, maybe on my estimate, they probably will order it at the Farnborough Air Show, but we never know, as this order may be looking like it's quite a close order. So it looks like another win for Airbus. And sticking with potential orders, we're looking at Austrian Airlines as they look at potentially expanding their portfolio of aircraft, as the company is looking at potentially buying some new narrow-body aircraft, thus being for the Boeing 737 MAX, which would come at a pretty weird time, or just weird because they already operate an entire Airbus narrow-body fleet, well, with some E-jets included, but this would mean an entire completely swap over to another make, which would make sure that pilots need more training on these newer aircraft that Austrian could be implementing into the fleet in the coming years if the order does go through. And this would come over ordering more A320neo family aircraft, since they already operate the A320neo family of jets, but they said for their long-term fleet strategy, the MAX would probably be their way to go. Now, there's a couple of reasons, as this would probably mean because there is more delivery slots available for the 737 MAX than the A320neo family at this point. Now, it would be Lufthansa that would make the purchase with Boeing for these new MAXs if the order is what Austrian wants for their future fleet. Now, it's still being assessed, but if it does go through, then it would mean an entire Boeing switchover, which would then mean that the airline would be making a commitment to Boeing this time to pretty much have an entire Boeing fleet. However, I don't think this order, as I said quite a lot in this video, that I don't think this order would come in time for the Farnborough Air Show. And now moving on to Emirates for the final topic of the video, and they've been fined by the United States of America for $1.8 million by the US Department of Transportation, and the reason for this being due to a breach of flights. And the reason for the fine being handed down is to do with their code share with JetBlue. JetBlue had been doing stuff to sell tickets which Emirates were obliged to pay their passengers could use. However, for some weird reason something has happened and now Emirates has been handed a fine for something to do with the JetBlue code share that they have, well, with JetBlue obviously. And there's also another reason for this was because of their flights flying over Iraq, which to people might seem fine, but it's really not. And according to sources, this is not the first time that Emirates has been fined for this same reason. This being all the way back in 2020, so I think pre-pandemic. And even the airlines saying that they would not do it again, but here we are about 4 years later and it's happened yet again. And with that, that does conclude the news for this week, so I hope you did enjoy and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!